Hello, this is Rory with the Love Chat, and today's topic is how to journal. Now, this is video number 268. If you have a question you would like for me to consider featuring on the channel, please write it in a comment below, and if you enjoy my videos, I would be so very grateful if you would subscribe and hit like. If you would like coaching on your situation, just visit my website, thelovechat.net/coaching, and take 15% off any regular voice coaching using the code TLC2020. Now then, I've talked a lot about journaling, but I've never really explained what's going on with journaling and why I find it to be so helpful. In fact, we even have some science backing up the efficiency and effectiveness of helping with depression, breakups, sadness. So let's talk a little bit about that. You might ask yourself, well, what's the point of journaling, right? What's that gonna do for me? My girlfriend, my boyfriend, whoever just broke up with me. What is writing on a piece of paper gonna do? Well, journaling helps control how you're feeling, particularly your anxiety and depressive feelings, because you begin to prioritize and explore the different fears and problems and concerns that you have due to a breakup. You see, when you're sitting by yourself just thinking, you're caught in this sort of infinite loop of questions and answers that lead nowhere, or answers that just give you more questions. It's chaos. All you can do when you sit and think is address these different problems from a point of anxiety. However, when you write down the problem, it's easier to track and chart your method of thinking. Not only that, but when you write down a problem, the problem doesn't change when you go back and reread it. It's always the same. It organizes your thoughts. It helps you prioritize which problems, which fears, and which concerns are pressing. So, it also helps you track your mood and track your symptoms. It allows you to recognize certain behaviors that are triggering to you and help you learn better ways of controlling them because now you're aware of them. And it's very often recognized that when you address, or at least admit that there is a problem, you can begin finding innovative, creative, and explorative ways of addressing the problem. But I cannot fix a problem if I do not fully acknowledge all of the circumference of the problem. In other words, if I haven't fully fleshed out why I feel how I feel, and even gain enough insight to know that how I'm feeling might be a little dramatic, or perhaps I'm making it worse than it needs to be, well then I can't even begin to think of a solution because I'm so drowned down by the chaos of what's going on. So, journaling helps you reduce some of the chaos and organize your thoughts in a more healthy way, where you can tackle things step by step, rather than being swarmed and held down by all these different thoughts. Now, a very important piece of this is doing it consistently. If you journal once a week, I mean, that's better than 0 times a week, but ultimately this is something that you should do consistently, as often as you can. Once a day, ideally, but at least every other day. Additionally, journaling helps you work on your positive self-talk. It helps you identify the negative thoughts and overcome them with positive thoughts or with logical conclusions. So, here's a common one. You know, I really don't want to attend that gym class because I'm so out of shape and I'm worried that, everybody's going to laugh at me. Okay, fair enough. Bring that to a logical conclusion. What do I actually think will happen? Well, I actually think that I'll go and, I'll feel embarrassed, but I don't think anybody will point and laugh. I think they'll be so busy doing their own thing that they won't even really pay attention to how I'm doing. Do you see how that took a logical conclusion? And it outwardly allows us to admit that our main concern is fantasy. The thing that we think will happen really won't happen. It's just fear. And fear is made up. It's made up by us. So journaling allows you to tackle your fear in a organized way. And that's going to be the key word when you think journaling. Organizing your thoughts, organizing how you feel. Now, imagine that journaling is one piece of this whole thing, because it is. So while the video is about journaling, it's, let's say, 20% of the healing. So you have journaling, and then you have exercising, and then you have healthy eating, and then you have talking to friends and being recreational, saying yes to life, and then you have mental health. And that's something I'm going to stop and talk about for just a minute. So for some reason I'll never understand, mental health and obtaining mental health help can be seen as a sort of taboo thing. And what's more is that It can be hard to get in some countries, and others are worried about the lack of insurance and things like that. And so that is why I have partnered with BetterHelp, and this video is in fact sponsored by BetterHelp, in order to help facilitate more mental health with counselors and therapists that are degreed and professional and legally allowed to practice mental health therapy. Now, it is BetterHelp, spelled H-E-L-P. And basically how it works is you visit betterhelp.com/Rory, and you will fill out a small questionnaire. And this questionnaire includes things like sexual preference, religion, and, all of these different categories to figure out who would be the best match for you in the event you are looking for mental health counseling. And what's really cool about this is that you can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor at any time. They do offer financial aid for those of you who are worried about the cost. And if you decide to follow through and you don't like the counselor, you can just pick a different one. So, one more time, if you decide that you want to get mental health counseling online, just visit BetterHelp, HELP.com/Rory. And using my link will give you 10% off the first month. I'm a real YouTuber now. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I'm going to mention about journaling that have helped me specifically, because I think one of the things that really confuses people is, how the hell do I start a journal? So here's how I do it. I take a journal that I like, right? I'll find a nice one on Amazon or something like that. I'll link a couple below if you guys are looking for suggestions. Really, it's just how the journal looks and the flexibility of the book, which seems silly, but I want the journaling process to be as least stressful as possible. So that's a huge part of this. It's your time to decompress. So this should be a very simple and even enjoyable experience. I'll crack open that journal with a nice pen or pencil and just begin writing how I feel. Now, for me personally, I'm a very trapped in my head, introverted intuition type thinker, right? I need to just mull over a problem again and again and again, and I will likely think about it forever until I extrovert the feeling. And one of the ways that you do that is you put in a journal, or you tell a friend, or you tell a counselor, something like that. So, specifically, I will sit down, write out exactly what happened. So that's the first thing. And there's no wrong way to do this. You just take what's in your head and put it on paper. That's really it. But I'll write out what did happen. That's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is, how do I feel about what happened? Chapter 3 is, I will write down what I don't understand. Like, how could that be? How could she say that? How could this happen? And then chapter 4 will be, what am I going to do about it? So that's really it. I keep it as simple as that, and it doesn't need to get more complicated than that. I think one of the things that scares people, because I hear this firsthand, is, hey man, I don't know how to do a journal. But that's the funny thing, is there's no wrong way to do a journal. You take what's in your head, you put it on paper, and that's it. And people are totally bewildered at that. They're like, that can't be it. There's got to be a proper technique. And it's no, you just write whatever feels right. Your journal doesn't need to follow any structure. It's your own private place to discuss whatever you want. Let the words just flow out of your brain, and don't worry about spelling mistakes, and don't worry about, but what if other people see this? They're not. It's a private journal. The whole point of journaling is to help you feel better, to help you feel more balanced, to have a safe time and place to journal, which is why one of the things I definitely recommend is a consistent time every day to journal. When you have nothing else going on, you don't have a meeting that you have to be at, you don't have a schedule to keep, you can just sit and write for as long as you feel you need to write. The next question people usually ask is, okay, how long should I write? Are we talking 5 minutes? Are we talking 45 minutes? And like I said, there is no need to keep such tight structure. Do what you feel is right. Sit down and write things out, and when you feel like you've said enough for the day, close the journal. If you need to journal again later in the day, do it. For many people, they don't like writing, and personally, while I believe the benefits of journaling comes from the actual written word, if I absolutely cannot convince you to keep a journal, at least keep a voice recording journal, where you can download a free app on your phone and just record how you feel that day. Journaling I like more because it makes me take my time. It makes me be in the present moment and write out how I feel. For talking, you guys know me, I can talk a mile a minute, so I think journaling, and part of the real importance behind journaling, is mindfulness, patience, time, deep breathing, taking that moment out of your day, and that is for healing. Otherwise, it's so easy to get wrapped up in our day-to-day that sometimes we don't do that, and I feel like that's where all the benefit comes from. So, I hope this made sense, and perhaps in the future, I've done this on Patreon before, I'll share a page out of my journal, and you guys can see what I was going through and sort of the format that I chose, even though there's no right or wrong way to do this. And let me know what you thought of this, and maybe even answer, do you keep a journal? And if so, have you found it to be beneficial? Remember, folks, a big part of this is consistency. You must be at least journaling 3 times a week. That's the only rule you should place on yourself. Otherwise, journaling is a pretty free and open thing. It really does help. I'll include some scholarly articles down below if you want to look at the science of this, but all in all, I think you know what you need to do. So, that's all I had for today. If you found my video helpful, I'd be very grateful if you'd subscribe and hit like. Please leave a comment down below and tell me what you thought of this video and what you might like to see in a future video. Additionally, if you would like extra never-before-seen episodes of The Love Chat, just visit my Patreon, patreon.com/thelovechat. Until next time.